journey. We're going to map out the exact mathematical and, honestly, emotional outcome of doing just one deceptively simple thing: investing a single $100 bill every single month for 45 years. We hear a ton about complex trading strategies and stock picking all the time, but today we're zeroing in on the undeniable, cold hard data behind radical consistency. Okay, let's dive right into this. I want you to picture this scenario. You're 22 years old. It's a Sunday evening in April. You're sitting on the floor of this tiny 480 square foot studio apartment, laptop resting on your knees. You've just opened up a brokerage account, and your finger is hovering right over the confirm button to start a $100 monthly automatic transfer into a Roth IRA. Now, the button is digital, it's completely weightless, but the decision you're about to make, that is huge. You look over your budget. After rent, student loans, groceries, and gas, you've got maybe $876 left over each month. So that $100 is just 3.5% of your take-home pay. And you know perfectly well that $100 isn't going to make you wealthy this year. Actually, it's not going to make you wealthy in 5 years either. But the sheer act of starting, and far more importantly, the act of never stopping, is literally what's going to change everything about your financial future. Chapter 1. Pushing the confirm button at age 22. By making this choice at 22, you're consciously deciding to break away from a terrifying financial norm. Right before hitting confirm, you see the grim reality online. The average 65-year-old has only about $87,000 saved up, and over half of all Americans can't even cover a $1,000 emergency. You quickly realize that doing what most people do is absolutely not a target you want to imitate. So you hit confirm. The transfer is set for the 4th of every month, and you go to sleep. Moving on to phase 2, surviving the bear market, from ages 27 to 34. During your late 20s and into your early 30s, the real test of this entire journey presents itself. And spoiler alert, it isn't about how much money you can contribute, it's about not flinching. The years just pass silently. By age 27, you've got about $7,400. By age 34, you've hit over $25,000. You didn't panic, you didn't chase hot stocks, and you definitely didn't try to time the market. This growth happens simply because that $100 transfer hits on the 4th of every single month without you ever checking the account. And this perfectly illustrates the danger of trying to outsmart the market. Let's compare your strategy to your friend Daniel. Daniel panic sold his investments at age 25 when the market dropped, thinking he'd just wait for it to bottom out. Because he let his emotions hijack his system, he stalled his progress for 4 whole years and missed a massive 41% market recovery. Meanwhile, you just did nothing. You let the system work. But your discipline absolutely gets tested at age 34. The market enters a severe bear cycle. In just 6 months, the S&P drops 28%, and you lose $5,800 on paper. Your balance falls from over $25,000 down to $19,400. It's painful. But instead of stopping the transfer, you use a little behavioral engineering. You set up email filters so you don't even see your brokerage statements anymore. You completely remove yourself from the prediction loop. So the crucial takeaway here is how you reframe this event. A bear market isn't a test of your panic threshold. It's a rebate. Because you're dollar cost averaging, your automatic $100 transfer is buying equities when prices are high, sure, but it's also buying beautifully low for 9 straight months during that downturn. The automatic nature of the transfer doesn't consult you, and it certainly doesn't care about your fear. Which brings us to phase 3. The compounding inflection point at age 42. You've now been making this transfer for 240 consecutive months, and suddenly, boom, a magical structural shift happens in the math. You're still only contributing $1,200 a year, but for the very first time, the market is doing more work than you are. It's generating an average of $4,400 a year in compound returns. The math has officially taken over the heavy lifting. By now, your life looks completely different. You're married to Mira. Your daughter, Anna, is 6 years old, bringing home her first youth soccer trophies. Your combined household assets are growing across 401ks and other accounts. Yet that original $100 Roth IRA remains your most symbolically important account. You've never increased the contribution, and you never will, because the point of this specific account is no longer its size. The point is its unwavering consistency. Phase 4. Building the financial structure, ages 50 to 58. As you cross into your 50s, the narrative shifts again. The wealth itself is no longer the main focus. It's about the financial structure you've built and the powerful legacy you can pass on. Watch how this builds over time.
you cross $124,000 at age 50. Then you hit $250,000 at age 58. These massive milestones just arrive without any ceremony. There are corrections, rallies, inflation, but the growth happens entirely through the silent background hum of the market and 432 consecutive automated transfers.
This brings up a pretty profound realization when you look at your 83-year-old father. He worked hard at a paper mill until he was 62 and managed to save $94,000. He's fine, but he's not wealthy. You realize the difference between his fine retirement and your incredibly comfortable one isn't just that you made more money. It's about the fact that you used automatic structural wealth building options that his generation simply didn't have access to.
And this exact structural advantage is the rule book you start passing on. You explained it to your former roommate Lena years ago. And eventually, you teach it to your 16-year-old daughter Anna. You show her these exact 4 steps. Open the account, automate the $100, pick a target date fund, and never look at it. You aren't just handing her a pile of cash, you're handing her the exact structure to build her own. Finally, part 5, the final number at age 67. It's been exactly 45 years. That is 540 consecutive months since you first hit confirm on that Sunday evening in your little studio apartment. That steady, seemingly insignificant $100 a month has grown into an astonishing $530,000 balance. And remember, this is just one piece sitting inside a broader $4.8 million retirement portfolio that you and your wife built over your careers. The math here is genuinely staggering, but as the source material points out, it isn't magic. Assuming an 8% average annual real return, you only ever contributed $54,000 of your actual hard-earned money. The market provided the other $476,000 in compound growth. The incredible discipline of those first 10 years effectively bought the exponential growth of the last 10. So now you're retired. You're sitting on the porch of a coastal house holding a cup of coffee. You think back to all those times you almost stopped, when emergencies happened, when life got incredibly expensive, when $100 felt impossible to part with. But you didn't stop. And you realize the ultimate truth of this entire 45-year journey. The wealth itself is not the trophy. The wealth is just the mathematical proof that consistency is the only force in the personal finance universe that always, always wins. And the beautiful thing is, the whole cycle is repeating itself right now. Somewhere tonight, another 22-year-old is sitting on the floor of a small apartment with a laptop. They're typing in $100. They're wondering if it's enough, wondering if it even matters at all. They don't know the bear markets they're going to face or the family they'll eventually build, but their finger is hovering right over that exact same confirm button. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final, highly personal question, because it really doesn't matter if you're 22, 32, or 42. The math of consistency stays exactly the same. The clock starts running when the market opens in 15 hours. When your finger hovers over that confirm button tonight, are you going to pull your hand back like most people do, or are you going to start?